Hello, players. I'm not Colby, but welcome to the first official post rebrand video. Yes, I stole it from him. um, with everything going on this week, the release of the first session of Tales of Neria, the rebranding, we decided as a group to not do a slide into my DMs this week, which, is fine, but I wanted to give you guys a little something this Friday. So Colby let me take over, which we all know is probably not a good idea. But I'm here. So what we're going to do today is just do a quick 2-part video. Super quick. Probably noticed by the timestamp, it's not going to be super long. So if you're a fan of hearing me talk a lot, or if you're not a fan of hearing me talk at all, don't worry, it's only for a few minutes. First of all, I actually wanted to ask my fellow players a quick question that I'm calling a D&D quick question. And I wanted to kind of gauge what their opinion was. And the question today is, what is their favorite type of D&D monster? I'll go ahead and start off just by saying that I personally love constructs. Being able to make a golem out of anything, or to have a warforged, or any sort of like weird beast that you make clockwork, or a beholder that you make clockwork, or a dragon that you make into like this iron steel, like I'm getting away from myself. I'm coming up with too many ideas. Constructs are versatile. They are basically, I love the fact that they're immutable usually. Normally a construct cannot have its form changed, and oftentimes you'll see something where a construct is an object that is just been enchanted, like a dancing sword, or a rug of smothering, or something like that, and it makes it for a wonderful little, oh hey, look at this cool item that we found in the dungeon, and bam, you got an encounter on your hands. But that's my opinion. So I asked my fellow DMs, and I asked my other players too, those who don't DM but love to fight monsters, what is your favorite type of monster?
That's an easy answer. Dragons. I mean, it's Dungeons and Dragons, right? I think ever since when I was really little, I watched the old 1977 animated version of The Hobbit, and Smog just really captured my attention. And ever since then, I've just been a huge fan. There's just something about that iconic monster that represents, everything about fantasy, everything that got me into fantasy, I suppose, in the first place. And I love the challenge of them. I love the variety of them. I love that there's good ones, that there's bad ones, that they have different colors, and that they shoot different stuff out of their mouths depending on what color they are, and all of the, especially when you get up into the adult and beyond level of dragons, the ancient dragons and things, where they're really hard to kill. They're really scary. They have layer actions and legendary actions, and most importantly, when you defeat them, piles and piles of gold. So yeah, I gotta go dragons.
My favorite monster type are monstrosities. And I think I like them the best because, like, as a kid, when you think of a monster, well, for me at least, that is the type of monster I think of. Ones that are like based in like Greek mythology or folklore. And a lot of the monsters that are in the monstrosity category come from mythology or folklore. It's my favorite.
Favorite monster type? I'd have to say elementals. I think they're cool, and I think there's a lot of kind of history and kind of richness that they can bring to storytelling moments, as well as like kind of the environment itself. And I think it's really cool to kind of see those interactions with society, as well as just that primal form of nature and how it kind of functions in the world. So
I like the undead monster type. And I think it's because I love horror so much. And I think it blends into fantasy pretty nicely. I think there's some there's some definite symbiotic relationship between fantasy and horror. And that there's a reason why a skeleton wielding a sword is one of the classic monsters in D&D. And I also think, just from a narrative perspective, there's a lot you can do as a DM. It's way more interesting to give some lore or world building through perhaps like a ghost, instead of, the adventuring party went to the library and found a book or found a note or a journal or something. I think it's cool to have maybe a character who died in the event that they're trying to research actually be able to tell them what went down.
My favorite monsters, if you can't guess, are aberrations. Mind flayers, flumps, aboleths, beholders, pretty much anything that comes from a different plane, has basically a different view of reality than we do. They see things in different ways that we wouldn't, and I love the fact that they're so wild and so bizarre and so weird to the rest of us.
Fantastic. Absolutely wonderful. Thank you to everybody for answering. And now I'm going to actually pass the question off to the comment section. What is your favorite type of monster? What do you love fighting against? What do you hate fighting against? Is there a particular type of monster that you prefer, especially if you're a paladin? We all know that undead is the preferred type, but is there something else that is just as good, if not better, to smite? Demons? Angels? Are you a paladin that smites angels? Who knows? The other thing that we're going to talk about today is something that it's D&D news light. And it's light to the point that nobody else really wanted to talk to it on a DM's episode. But there's a certain section of a Venn diagram that has D&D in one side and MTG, or Magic the Gathering, in the other. And right in that little section, it's just listed as ballers. No, it's just listed as uber nerds like me who like them both. And seeing those crossed over, like we've seen before with the Zendikar handbook, which was just like a little free PDF that Wizards handed out, or Ravnica, which was a full source book that kind of detailed one of the best planes in Magic the Gathering, in my opinion. It kind of tickles my fancy whenever I see these two crossover. I was a huge Magic the Gathering fan growing up. I don't play a lot of it these days. I still follow it. And when I heard that Magic the Gathering was coming out with a D&D flavored set in place of their core set, I was ecstatic. Because we've never had a crossover like this before. We've had D&D adapt MTG properties for themselves every now and then, but we've never had the reverse happen. We've never had any but like token things be pulled from Dungeons and Dragons into Magic the Gathering. And when I say core set, for those of you who are not in the know, a core set is basically like your basic set of cards. These are the standards that you're going to be playing with through the year, and all of the other expansions that come out are kind of a extra stuff around that has the crazier cards in it and everything. So having D&D not only be represented as a set in Magic the Gathering with the Forgotten Realms taking the forefront for the setting, but also having it be a core set is, in my opinion, just it's almost a dream come true. So let's talk a little bit about this set. And you may have already seen some art floating around. I'll include a bunch of art. First of all, we know a little bit at this point, but not a lot as far as the set goes. We know that it is going to be set in the Forgotten Realms, as I said. We know that the previews where they're going to show off the cards are going to begin June 9th. And then it's going to be available online for their Magic Online, Magic Arena on July 8th. And then for the pre-release, it's going to be July 16th, moving onward. And usually it's like a week, or July 23rd will be the worldwide release. So you can go pick up card packs if you want there. As far as cool stuff in the set goes, you're going to get a lot of favorites. They showed off the portable hole. Ooh, portable hole. Maybe I shouldn't be shouting that. And they showed off the Vorpal sword as a pair of artifacts that you can get, and I think they both look really cool. It's nice to have new artwork that kind of shows off the world of the Forgotten Realms. Each of the individual basic lands, which is what you use to cast spells in Magic, for those of you who are unfamiliar, are going to have little adventure hooks written as the flavor text, which basic lands traditionally don't have flavor text. They just have kind of card art and a symbol these days. So that's really cool to be able to see, like, to be able to shuffle a deck of cards and pull out an adventure hook to start your adventure up for your one shot is really cool. We've got, I don't know. Is there anything else? Is there anything else really famous that they already announced that we haven't gotten to yet? Oh, yes. Tiamat herself has been announced as a legendary dragon. She pulls other dragons from your deck into your hand, and she looks badass on both card arts because they're giving dragons a full card art treatment and a regular dragon art treatment because they love doing individual card arts. And speaking of actually individual card arts, they also showed off that they're going to be doing what they're calling a classic rulebook card variant. And you might be able to see right here, you've got your regular beholder based on the card art that somebody drew for this set. And then you've got your classic rulebook beholder, which I think looks really cool. And it kind of takes you back a little bit to D&D or second edition or whatever you want to call it, Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. I don't know how many cards in the set are going to get that treatment. I'm sure it's probably going to be a lot of the rare and mythic rare variants that you're going to see there, but I'm hoping that beholders are going to be just as cool in MTG as they are D&D. And if the pictures are any indication, they will be. I mean, look at that chonker. Look at him. Seriously. The other thing that I'd like to mention is that they are introducing two new creature types that have not seen the light of day before in Magic the Gathering. And that so far, we could have like a beholder creature type come in or something else as well. They haven't revealed anything else, but halflings and citizen are two new creature types that have never appeared in MTG. Magic the Gathering has notably had Kithkin, which are a similar creature, but they were distinct from halflings, and we're getting our first taste of actual halflings now. And then there are also rumors about there being two-sided dungeon cards coming around, where you'll probably have an exploration side, and maybe it flips into a treasure side or something like that. So that could be really cool. So keep on the lookout for that. And then they also announced that they're doing 6 different commander decks, which is notable up from their normal 2. Which means that they're picking a bunch of different lore figures like, I don't know, Drist, and throwing them into their own commander-style decks. And for anybody who doesn't play Magic the Gathering, thanks for bearing with. Just look at the really cool card art, get some ideas about lore from the pictures, and I think that's it. No, that's not it. They also released 2 other cards. They released the... I need to pull them up. They released the Prosperous Innkeeper, which was that halfling citizen. You may have already seen him. And then they've also released one of their spells, which is Power Word Kill. And Power Word Kill is basically destroys any non-angel, non-demon, non-devil, non-dragon creature, which seems pretty apt for Power Word Kill, in my opinion. But that's pretty much it. If you like this video, we can keep you updated on releases. Just let us know in the comments below. Like, subscribe, comment on if you think this is a really cool move. If you don't give 2 craps about Magic the Gathering, let me know. And as always, just keep supporting the channel, guys. We really appreciate it. If you haven't seen episode 1 of Tales of Veneria, it is out now. We'll probably put a little card in if I remember it. So until next time, thank you so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe to the channel again. Consider becoming a member. It's just $2 a month. But we'll be back next week with a normal DMs video. And until next time, have a great day.